MFL Total Access. We in the house. Let's go. Let's get it. Crazy weekend of flag football. Yeah, and it was not as fun as we thought it was going to be, but it was still a great time. A lot of games to talk about.
A lot of games to talk about. I feel it's gonna be a great show. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your energy level at?
11.
That's what I'd like to hear. Um, well, first off, we got some great news. I'm not gonna say to announce because the email, as this is airing, has already been sent. You're not aware of it yet because the email hasn't actually been sent as of us recording. But we will have a live stream for our finals this spring.
No way.
Yes way. So if you don't make your Div 1 finals, you'll still be participating in the game by calling it.
Watch your mouth.
We got Gab Darvaux and Ben Denis, who are really, really nice guys. In addition to being good football players, we'll talk about legendaries a little bit later. Great OT win. But without them, well, thanks to them, it'll be possible once again this spring season.
That's great. I swear I was literally thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, it was fun the one time we did it. It was a nice day.
Yeah.
One hit wonder, but that's awesome.
Yeah, so because of that, a new playoff schedule came out. We had to readjust the finals times for certain teams. We tried not to move it all that much. Um, but obviously, it's understandable. There's still over a month before the finals, so you can make your plans accordingly. And it's all for a great reason, right? Like, you're gonna have a video of your whole game with live commentary, um, replays. Apparently, we could even draw on the screen now.
For real.
Yeah, like for real, for real. Like
You'll be doing that, not me, bro. You'll be doing that.
they showed me some sneak peeks and it made me as happy as it makes my jazz working on footballs.
I don't think that happy, but I get what you're saying. That's pretty incredible.
So a huge shout out
Wow.
to Ben Denis and Gab Darvaux. Um,
For real, guys, that's awesome. Thank you for that. And it's a lot of work, right? Remember, like when we did it, there was
oh yeah.
wires there, and they had to come super early. No, it was wires coming out of everywhere, bro. But that's awesome. So, well, respect to you guys. That's really excited for that. Thank you.
And since we touched upon the playoffs now, just to remind everyone, 5 games played to be playoff eligible. You could ask for an exception if there was an injury, you joined the team late, whatnot, but you can only ask for that exception after the regular season. You absolutely need the exception by the MFL email address written. So you can't ask Will at the field or John at the field. That won't work. Or even on Messenger, it needs to be from an MFL legitimate communication stream by email, actually. Besides that, our website cannot, if there's more than a two-team tie, it might not be the correct standings in the website. So as a reminder, take a look at the tie-breaking scenarios in the rule book. Remember, forfeits are the first one that count the most, right? So any forfeit, you automatically lose any tie-breaking scenario, even the head-to-head ones. So for
But
more,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, just like last year when Ross lost threw a party thinking they were in, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, so like the site by default looks at head-to-head when it's two teams, and then it'll look at points against if the head-to-head is tied, and then if it's more than two teams, it'll just look at straight up points against. Uh, so if not everyone played an equal amount of times against each other, that works. But the thing we changed in the rule book a few seasons ago, and it's been, I'd say, at least 2 years now, is that if all tie teams in a multi-team tie played against each other an equal amount of time, so like let's say there's a three-way tie, only one of the three teams make it in, or only two of the three teams make it in, so we need to sort those three teams, and we all played against each other once exactly, well, then we're going to look at our head-to-head record against each other, which I feel in almost everyone's opinion is a much more accurate way to decide who's better amongst the tie teams if we look at the records against each other and not necessarily just their points against.
Hmm.
Do you agree?
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I like it that way. And like you said, it's a good reminder, right? Because it
Yeah.
wasn't super clear last year. But you said the finals times will switch, but the day will still be August 2nd, right? All the finals will be August 2nd.
Yeah. Why you're gone
Okay.
August 3rd?
I was thinking about leaving the second, but yeah, I may as well stay the extra day.
Yeah. Yeah. All finals will still be August 2nd. I believe that 3 out of the 6 are staying at the same time. Maybe even 4 out of the 6 are staying at the same time. We just had to move a couple because we had scheduled two slots where there were two finals at the same time.
Oh,
If
okay,
people
okay.
complain, we could leave that, but then we'll flip a coin to see which games are going to be broadcasted. And I think two of those were like a Div 2 and a Div 5 game. So if like Ben or Gab's teams in the finals were obviously doing their game, right? No questions there. Um, and yeah, I think we moved the D1 game one slot later just to make sure it's the last game of the day. You know, you want to finish with a bang, cash prize and everything. So it's gonna be a long day, but it'll be worth it.
Damn, I'm excited. That's awesome. Thanks to the two boys.
Yeah. Um, Another message. What time slots are you off on Saturday?
Slots one, two, three, four, five, and six.
So you only have one game?
No, I will not be there. So
Oh fuck, it's true.
I
Ah,
thought that was
damn.
a rhetorical question.
Well, because we're playing slot seven. So when you said one, two, three, four, five, Thunder Buddies, we're playing slot seven. So when you said one, two, three, four,
Oh,
five, and six, that's why it made sense. I'm like, oh, you only got one game. You're only playing slot seven, so you're free before.
almost got you.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to wait for my candy, right?
Oh, the bet.
We made a little bet, and it's like taking candy from a baby because it's so easy to bet with
Yeah,
it.
okay, bro. That's your 1-0. I'll finish 4-1 at the end of the season. It was Drama Club and him, you, eh?
Yeah, yeah, and we'll get into it 'cause I even got my bold prediction right.
Really?
We'll get into it at
Okay, it was
the.
definitely not that bold.
So I guess I'm gonna have to wait for to claim my prize.
We'll make another bet in between, and by then you'll owe me more, so it's all good.
You said you had a few notes, surprisingly for once.
Yeah, preach. What's popping with the site?
It's fixed now.
No, but I mean like because I was looking at like the scores and stuff,
Yeah,
and like I was the second half of unit and KLB like the score's not there. It says zip zip.
yeah, it's fixed now. I mean, I
Oh,
don't
it
know if
is.
that game. Well, I know the stats got fixed for that game. I think the play-by-play and the scoring summary is still not fixed, but the
Okay.
stats are all up to date. The score is correct. There was an issue with the phone in that
Okay.
game. Luckily, we had all the statistics in our back end, so we were able to update it after the game. But something happened during the game that it was not communicating from the scorekeeper app to the website.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because the
Okay.
standings weren't updated, but I guess all that's fixed
Yeah,
now.
the standings were a separate issue actually. Maybe
Okay.
connected, but I think it was a separate issue. But that's all fixed now. So all the standings are updated. Make sure to have that fixed before our show. So when we look at them, it'll be good. But yeah, minor upgrade to the version of the website that created that issue. Everything's good now. Um, yeah.
Okay. Bless. Then we had the story of the missing football. Do you see the what I posted on the MFL
Yeah,
players?
I don't know for that too. This is crazy. So
Okay, this is becoming some Detective Columbo type stuff, bro. Like this is like it was like eight people's, and like this person had it, that person had it. They're just gonna like put it up for an auction at this point. So
all that, and you give the ball away.
yeah, I sold exactly the ball. My next door neighbor bought it for 45. No, but okay, so I put on the thing, and Mike Jobs was holding the ball by the way in the picture, and then Emery wrote it was
Of
his
course.
ball. And well, that's just like I'm just getting started. Emery wrote that it was his ball. I said, okay, bless, perfect. We'll get the ball. He texted me. He said, yeah, don't worry, I'll get it to you. Then Brian messaged me saying, no, I think it's my ball. Where did you find it? He says, did you find it on the bleachers? I was like, yeah, that's exactly where I found it. Then I write back to Emery, and Emery said, oh, no, it's all good. It's not my ball. I said, perfect, all good. It's gonna be Brian's ball. Return it to him. Then after that, Dave writes in the group, and he goes, but does it say A-team on it? Then I look, I like, oh my God, the ball says A-team on it. I said, oh my God, whose ball is it? Then Brian writes me, because yeah, I think someone took my ball, and 18's ball actually got stolen, so someone has 18's ball, so all I have to say, we have no idea whose ball it is. And someone from 18 probably has Brian's ball, and that 18 ball belongs to someone not named Brian. So we
So
literally have no idea who the ball belongs to.
Dave Daou lost that ball that you have 2 years ago.
What, Terry?
Okay. Just when you thought the story couldn't get any better.
So you're telling me that football belongs to Dave Daou and that football was from 2 years ago?
Yes. So 2 years ago, Dave lost that football, right? So the person who took that football accidentally from 2 years ago forgot, like, this is one assumption, took Brian's football this past Saturday and got mixed up and left Dave's football at the field.
Okay, you completely lost me, bro.
Okay, let's assume William Power found the football 2 years ago and didn't notice it wrote A team on it.
Okay,
Got you? You following?
so far.
Okay. William Power is a deliver RNG with that football that he now has found 2 years ago. He's been playing with for the past 2 years. Uh, he was eager to leave to go see his girlfriend after the game, and
I
packed up
wish.
his stuff really really quickly, and just threw a football into his bag. Turns out the football that he threw into his bag was Brian's football, and not A team's football. So now the football that remained at the park that got lost was A team's football. But William Power, his actual football, is the one that writes A team on it, who is actually Dave's. But he has Brian's now.
So who has Brian's ball?
You do.
Wait, let me check. So you're telling me Dave that who has Brian's ball?
No. Oh man.
So we don't
The
know where Brian's ball is.
the person who left the 18 ball at the field, let's say
Yeah,
like the mysterious person X,
yeah,
they accidentally took Brian's ball instead of the 18 ball.
yeah. But who's mysterious person X?
That's what we had to find.
Did we find him or her?
No.
Oh, okay, so it's a wrap, bro. Brian will buy a new ball, bro. Like I don't know, like what are we
No,
doing?
Dave said that since he had lost that ball 2 years ago, he'll let Brian keep it if Brian doesn't find his ball.
But you know the twist is Mike Jazz has the ball. So it ain't Brian's, it ain't Dave's, it's Mike
Yeah,
Jazz's.
Mike Jazz has it temporarily, no?
That's the twist. No, he did his magic. Oh boy, he did his magic and everything. So all that to say, it's great at whose ball it is. That's great news. But right now it belongs to Mike Jazz, and it ain't going back.
Oh, he's keeping it?
Well, I hope not. But no, all kidding aside, all that to say, whoever's ball it is, you'll be happy because Mike just fixed it and worked on it and sent me about 27 photos last night. So we're
But did he say he was keeping it or he just took it to work on it?
no. I made that part up. He's going
Okay,
to
okay.
give it back to the person asking for a ransom.
There's a certain limited number of footballs one man can have in his house, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but yeah. So okay. So all that to say, we're not even close to solving the mystery.
No.
Okay. That's all. Those are my 2 points.
That's it?
Yeah. Those are my two. I mean, you should have 0 points. So those are my two.
Following up on the kids game, we have the parent kids game coming up. So confirm your spot if you haven't yet to make sure we have enough folks to participate in the game. Um, July 5th. Are you gonna come
July
with your
5th.
mom?
Yeah, she throws a tight spiral. Wait, July 5th.
Yeah.
Is that a Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like the same day as MFL.
You thought we would just randomly show up on another day and play
Well, it's bro MFL's community. Okay, so it's going to be before or after the slots or during the actual slots.
at the end of the day.
That's awesome.
July 5th is on everyone at LeBaire Day too, so
And as you know, I will not be there.
you're missing on everyone at LeBaire Day?
I know that was the
So
main reason I tried to cancel my
cancel
trip.
the damn trip,
I
bro.
know. I tried. I tried.
Maybe you'll find the football in Portugal.
Brian's football.
Yes.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Oh boy, so now I got to write to Brian.
What did you tell Brian and Dave and everyone that was claiming it was theirs?
So Brian wrote to me and said, "Is that my ball?" And I was like, "Bro, what's this guy talking about?" And then after that, he's like, "Did you find it here?" And I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Does it have this mark on it?" And then I texted Mike, and Mike said, "No, it doesn't have a little scratch on it."
And
That's that's what Brian said it has. So then
you
I
know,
was
if it had a
really
scratch,
confused.
Mike would definitely have found that scratch.
1000%. And then Mike says the ball says A team on it. I was like, okay, this series is getting too weird. Like you know what? Let the Lord figure this out, man. Whoever needs the ball gets the ball, and
So we're
that's
gonna have
about it.
security at the gates next game, and you're going to be checking your balls as you walk in. Get your balls out and make sure they get checked. I'm sure Kevin will be a good volunteer for that.
Yeah, he likes touching those.
Last but not least, did you watch Matt and Gold's podcast?
No, but I heard it was really good, and they got like 44 comments.
Yeah, we got like three last week, so guys,
Well,
step
that's
up,
what
come
I
on.
mean. What's happening?
But for real, it's a really good show. Like it's all in French, so you might not understand most of it, but like it's very entertaining, insightful, good analysis. They got a pretty good chemistry. I gotta say, like it rivals ours. Like they're pretty funny duo. I gotta say we gotta step up our game a little bit if we want to be the MFL's favorite podcast because we have competition right now.
Preach, bro. Fair enough. Like I was saying last week, when I did tune in for a few minutes, the one time I did, the chemistry is great, and they're all positive. They're all bubbly, and it's like that's what you want in a podcast.
Matt sets the record straight and he tells people off quite a bit.
Yeah. Hey, you can't beat her on the bush
Bro,
too
you
much.
remember all those complaints we got because of what he said?
Oof. Yeah, it's hard to forget those.
He called a team a disease.
No, I was gonna say there's worse things in life, but there probably isn't.
Okay, let's actually start the show.
Yeah, bro, this is ridiculous,
Unless you
bro.
have more messages.
They'll come along. Don't worry. I'll let you know if Brian texts me, and we'll figure it out.
Okay. Um, let's start with Division One because I got quite a few things saying Division One. Is that okay,
Deal.
boss?
Yeah, I got right. Yes, I got you.
You can see my screen.
It says Terry. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
It said what?
it said Terry Ballas is trying to share his screen. Or is that Mike
Okay.
Max?
What?
Bro, he looks like he's like 14.
Oh wait, little friend says it was Ben Malet's birthday, and he told me that you wished him happy birthday, and you were surprised that he was the age he said he was. And he's like,
Yeah.
I thought you thought he was younger?
Well, he turned 27 on Saturday,
Yeah. And you thought
and
he was younger?
like I probably would have given him 25.
You probably give him 25,
Yeah,
but
but
you
it's
also said
crazy to think that.
but you also said he's much more mature than you.
Yeah, well, I mean that.
Like he came to see me, he's like, that's kind of contradicting. Doesn't make sense how he thought I was more mature than him, but he gave me an age that's younger than his age. And I'm like, yeah, well, in his head, Will has the maturity level of a 12-year-old, and that is why. And
Exactly.
he's like, okay, makes total sense.
He wasn't reading between the lines, but he said them straight.
Okay. Talk to me about your game.
Yeah, this was man, I think with this game we set the tone right away. This was a get right game for us. We needed to back-to-back wins. Honestly, we did put up a lot of points, but I'd say the defense played as well as the offense in this one. First possession of the game, Raccoons took all the way down to our 1 yard line. We stopped them on a goal line stand, and from there that kind of set the tone. We scored in our first drive, scored in our second. We got a pick six early in the second half as well. And honestly, this was one of the games just really gelled. It was I feel like look, you see John with 8 catches, Chris with 8, John with 3 TDs, Quentin with 2, Mace with a touchdown. Quentin honestly had his I guess you would say coming out party in Division One because if you look at their three, he found the end zone 5 times. And he was making some nice toe tag catches. We just honestly gelled really well in this game, and I think that unfortunately for the Raccoons, they had some uncharacteristic drops. There was honestly one drive where they had like 3 drop TDs on what seemed to be 3 straight plays. Guillaume putting the ball exactly where it needed to be. And unfortunately, the ball was dropped. But honestly, credit to Guillaume. I spoke to him after the game. I said, look, he kept his cool. He didn't throw his guys under the bus, and definitely shows why he's a quarterback you want to play for him. But yeah, a big win for us to kind of get back on track because things weren't playing out so well. But I'd say every single player for us stepped up and had a great game. And honestly, Dave St. Jean, man, we know him. Everyone talks about him, but like first. I believe this is his first time playing Div One, like on an actual roster, right? Like for making him be playoff eligible. And he got a pick six in this game, a pick six in his other D1 game, and he's honestly slowly becoming one of the best players in this league. So in the loss, he was still a bright side for them.
I tried really hard not to cut you off, but I have a million things to say right now, so I'm probably gonna forget some.
Deal.
Uh, yeah, first off, John Lewis this freaking balled out in this game, leading 8 for 68, 3 touchdowns, 1 point convert, 2 sacks. Quentin coming out party. Chris Hope doing what Chris Hope always does, like the 6 for 67, 1 touchdown stat line. That's like regular a day in the office for him. Wait, why were you guys going for one? You don't usually go for one, no?
It
It
was
worked, but
so Brady comes up to me after, and I'll explain. And he goes, you broke the record for most ones in a game. I was like, for real? He's like, yeah, I saw you had 7, and I had to check.
okay.
And I was like, well, you know what it was? It's because we're god awful at going for two, that everyone was like, let's just go for one. And I'm opposed to going for one, but not as much as I'm opposed to punting. And we honestly, like all kidding aside, we were not hitting our twos. Like it was, I get, if you get a two, it's worth double a one, but it
Yeah.
wasn't worth a
You would
certain
have needed to
point.
get 4 twos, which I think would have been very, very hard to do in this game to exceed the number of points you got off ones.
And it was right after last game that we said, you know what, maybe we start going for one. And so this game we decided to go for one, and that was it. Just really, it was just that our twos weren't clicking.
And let's go see the records.
Yeah, I mean Brady wouldn't know about ones, right? Because he even if the game is tied on the last play, he'd go for two.
Oh, you actually tied the
Um,
record.
yeah, but that's a team. Hey, henchman, there you go. But yeah, no,
Dom before with two twice getting six. I'm also surprised they go for one. You'd think with Dom before they'd always go for two, right?
yeah, true. Yeah, good call. 6-2, but wow. Brandon, tons of percent. Yeah, that. But yeah, no, things
What
were
percent?
working for us. Things were
Oh
working for
yeah.
us.
Okay. Uh, One thing that I'm surprised about Raccoons. Did you see their jerseys?
They had alternate jerseys, eh?
Like a nice team name, a great logo. Guys who have a lot of swag in this league were playing with swagless uniforms. Gotta get that fixed. At the very least, borrow pennies and not wear the same damn penny across the board. Now
No,
you got
no, never wear pennies, bro. That's never an
well,
excuse.
actually, wait, you guys are in white and they're white. Who were, did they have a,
So that's what I was saying. I was thinking about it when my mom was driving me to the game, and I was like, "Oh crap, we both wear white. Who's gonna have to wear pennies? I have to check who's home, who's away, all that nonsense." But I got to the field, and they were already wearing black, and I was like respect, like because obviously I guess they knew we were white.
wait,
But it was
they're
really
wearing
nice of them.
black pennies or black shirts?
No, they were wearing like black t-shirts.
With numbers?
Yeah, Guillaume was wearing his drama club one, I think.
Well, they
Uh,
were the visiting team, so they needed to wear, they were going to be the ones had to change.
okay. Well, respect for
But
not wearing pennies because pennies are the
in the
worst.
second game, which I refed and you were in the stands, and I have a lot of things to say about that too against the villains, they were all wearing white, and villains are like purple black, right?
Yeah.
Raccoons had one player with a black jersey on.
Oh,
And
Mo.
after the first,
Okay.
yeah, after the first drive, I'm like, you gotta change that. He's like, really? Why? Bro, look around. He's like, but I've been playing with, and then Dave said, he's like, but he's been using that all season. And we've been playing in white.
Bro, I'll tell you, someone would watch our game and say, "Wow, that's so cool! It's a kitty cat league. Everyone's playing on the same team." Like, it's pretty incredible how that's flown under the
Like I'm
radar.
like, you couldn't be more opposite colors. Your team's freaking white jersey and you're playing in a black uniform and you're asking why I have to change shirts.
Everybody, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But yeah, no, he had to fix it that time.
But yeah, they need more swag to because like you look good, play good, do good, ball out, and get paid. Kind of all that stuff. And now you can actually get paid if you win the D1 championship. So um, another thing you touched upon, you said that Guillaume wasn't like when they dropped those balls, were they looking at the referee or anything like that, or
No,
and
yeah, they were upset with themselves. Like the person who dropped the ball was kind of like looking skyward and upset with himself. And La Roche was like the first one to say, next play, and then go back in the
yeah,
huddle.
great
And
attitude,
Guillaume,
Laroche.
yeah, exactly. La Roche was doing La Roche things.
And yeah, because during the game that I officiated against the villains, not to say that it was later in the day, got hot, maybe there was more heat, and maybe players weren't as understanding, but there were a couple of drops, and not gonna say that people were pointing fingers, but people were clearly being told that they should have caught the dropped pass uh, in a not so happy rainbow way, if what I'm saying, maybe you heard, but that, and then when passes were not caught, I don't know if it's as if because Raccoons and Guillaume and all these guys have been playing like in Brassard and they've been like dominating, so like when they face a little bit of competition, they're not used to things going their way and every deep pass being completed. Um, they're looking at the referees and saying, was there a holding or a PI or something? And in my mind, I'm like, no, it's possible for the defender to make a play legally as well, right? So it's kind of like being shocked of like why their plays were not working in a sense, Um, but I will say this: they did communicate super well on both sides of the ball. Literally, after every single play, they would huddle up and they would talk. If there was a completion, they try to understand what happened. Not necessarily pointing fingers, but just like what assignment. Like, did you compromise something? Were you compensating short versus deep? And it was good communication. At some point, I felt it got a little pointing fingers and like blaming and a bit too negative. I found, but at the same time, like I'm not in that friend group to know like if that's how they talk to each other. Like if someone sees Steve talk to you after you make a mistake, they're gonna think that like you should call child services, right? But that's just the way Steve is, and that's how he shows his love. So um, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think no, probably what you said. It was later on in the day. It was a hot day. You can only hold hold certain emotions in for a long enough time. But I think, like you said too, the villains, as much as they've struggled, they're a bit of an aggressive defense, right? So they're kind of playing with the rules in the sense that they'll do what they can until they get away with it, which makes sense. But we just talk about this game itself. Obviously, we filmed the last play. It's on Facebook now. This was like a playoff game, right? For both teams. This was a must win for both teams. Raccoons, I think they were sitting at 1-5 before this game. after losing their first game. Exactly, and then winning this game to go 2-5. Um, it's going to be tough to find a way where villains make the playoffs, but a huge win for Raccoons and it basically saving their season.
Definitely saved their season, and I think it just this game also showed that the villains could compete in Division One, right? They were up in the game on the very last play. They were winning by 3 points with with one play remaining in the game, right? So um, we'll touch upon it soon, but punting was not the right thing to do, even though they got the win, and even though they didn't punt in the Arnolds games and they got the loss there. I know you might think it is, but it's just a camouflage. It's not. It's not. It's you're not looking at it properly. Like you definitely was not the right call to punt. You could dissect it in a million different ways. If you won, you still would have won, probably by 2 scores if you didn't punt. Um, but you definitely would not have lost that game.
So you know what you said. Sorry to cut you off. You know what you said.
You didn't cut me off. I had to stop talking.
Yeah, that's it's true. That's a rarity. But you know what you said. It was because they punted, right?
I said what?
They didn't win. Raccoon did not win the game because they punted. That's not why they won.
Yeah, they won in spite of that.
Exactly. It's like, the statistic when they say, when most people eat ice cream, that day they have a higher chance of getting burnt.
Yeah,
It's not because you eat ice cream and you get burnt. It's because you eat ice cream in the summertime when you're in summer you get burned. Like it's two things that
yeah,
have nothing to do with each other. That's basically what the
yeah.
punt was.
Cause and correlation, right?
Bingo. Yeah, I forgot what that was.
So yeah, because they punted and Villain scored in 3 plays.
Correct.
Um, but also I think we forgot to mention Dave's. Well, there's two crazy pick sixes in this game. Dave St. Jean's obviously. Oh, sorry. The second one was not a pick six. It was an almost pick six on the last play of the half by Sean Murphy, I believe it was. You remember that play?
Oh man, when the Gregar ran like DK Metcalf.
Yeah. Uh, so it was it fourth down? It was last play of the half. Raccoons were roughly 10 yards out, I think. Look, they were already up 9, looking to punch it in. And Sean Murphy makes a sick interception and runs it back to I don't think it was the 1 yard line. It was probably like the 2 or 3. But how would that have changed the game?
Because Raccoons were up by 9 at that point.
Yes.
Good
That
way
would
to
have been the
mention that.
TSN. That would have been the TSN turning point.
I mean, technically it was because he tackled him, but way to remember that. I saw like that was crazy. I didn't even see him in the picture, and then all of a sudden because I think Murphy made one guy miss, and then it looked like he had green grass. But yeah, that was an amazing play by Goodwall.
Yeah. And Will Bradford also made a sick interception in this one.
Yeah, he got up there, eh? Climbed the ladder.
Yeah. So enough talking about this game. I know we spoke a lot off air about the Idaho Outlaws game. I think both of us had Idaho covering the spread of like almost 7 points. Look, first thing I looked at was the rosters. Uh, both teams are missing key pieces, right? Outlaws are missing Smuda and Svetna. Idaho were only 6 with a sub, right? So it's safe to say they were missing more of their core and true roster. I mean, they did have Manu, Gab, Jerome, James, and Brady, who are the core, but they were missing other key guys like Sam. Joey's having a great season. I think Chris might still be injured. Hope he comes back soon. You probably don't hope he comes back anytime soon.
Hey, that's in terms of giving us a chance to win. No, but he's a good guy. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to be gone until potentially the finals. That's what Brady said.
Yeah, I feel like this often. I'm not shocked that Outlaws managed to win this game, even though I had Idaho winning it. I'm more shocked of like the 25 point score difference. Seeing Outlaws jump to an early first half 20-8 lead over here. Like it's crazy that Idaho only scored 8 points in that first half.
Man, this game got away quickly from Idaho, and I'll say that Outlaws took this game personally because at halftime of this game, or when the game was not at halftime, late in the second half when it was basically over, Khalil was like, "Man, this is the Idaho opposite, right? Because usually they're used to blowing out teams, and at this point, Idaho was getting blown out." And after the
Yeah.
game ended, Marv looked at me and said, "You got something to talk about in your podcast?" And I was like, "Yeah, we do." So Outlaws really had this game circled on their calendar, and And yeah, I guess like these were the two top dogs in the division. The Outlaws wanted to show why they should still be considered the favorites. And it's like you said, it wasn't the way. Sorry, it wasn't the fact that Idaho lost this game. It was just the way they lost. Like yes, Idaho were missing Sam. I don't know if Danik is going to make the 5 games or not. And Joey wasn't there. But you're with for Outlaws. I don't. Who knows this who's going to play this season? You're missing Svetna, so both teams are missing guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And it's
Khalil
hard to
just
say
had
that anyone that you're sorry to cut you off, but it's hard to say that anyone that
yeah.
you're missing justifies a 25-point difference, right? Like we got ballers, but like unless it was like I don't know, like a squirrel throwing with his left arm in this game, and then you say, okay, if the squirrel wasn't there and Brady was there, yes, Brady could probably make up the 25 points. But like if you're just missing other players and you have your quarterback, it's hard to say that anyone's that good where it would be a 25-point difference in the game.
Yeah, 100%. And Svetsna wasn't there for Outlaw, so that's a big piece. But it was just yeah, this game got away quickly. I know it was only 20-8 at half, and Idaho were getting the ball to start the second half, but this game kind of felt like it had already slipped away by that point. Outlaws they were hitting on all cylinders. Like Steve was getting everything he wanted. He was dinking and dunking with Max. Their second play of the game was a bomb to Marvin. Marvin again, just with the yak was incredible. I think he got the first pick of the game too. Did Marvin? So Marvin set the tone right away, and then from there was Max doing his thing. It was Khalil at the rusher position. Khalil, I don't think did he get a sack this game? He didn't get a sack, but he had at least I believe one or two PDs, and you could just tell that
That you didn't enter.
that who didn't enter.
You were scorekeeping this game, no?
Oh yeah, so there. Okay, so he had zero PDs in this game, but you could tell that Brady's throws were being affected by Khalil, just kind of his long arms and
Why
everything.
didn't you put the
Um,
guys PDs, man?
yeah, no, for real. But I'm sure no, something's up, and he must have not had PDs. I just had some weird flashback, but his presence was felt regardless of if he was getting sacked or not in this game. And you look at like the two new guys for for Outlaws. I mean, obviously, one of them being Khalil and like the newer guys, Mason Miller. These are guys that, we don't talk about as much as the big name guys, but these are guys making a name for themselves on the Outlaws. What I'll just say is, Outlaws took this game personally, and I think that they were getting a little bit, I'd say, annoyed with all the Idaho praise. But I told Idaho guys, after the game, and I was speaking with Brady too before the game, and what they were doing was not sustainable, right? Idaho wasn't going to put up
You
60
told
points
Brady
here.
that? You told Brady it was not sustainable what he was doing?
He actually said it, and I agreed. He was like, "Look, I don't expect to crush Outlaws," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't expect you guys to crush Outlaws either. I expect you guys to beat them." But I know it may feel like after that game and the way they lost, like the ceiling is falling down and all hell's breaking loose. But this could potentially be a good thing for Idaho.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like
It's like
that's
the
what I
silver
asked you last
lining.
week, though. It's what I asked you last week about the pressure being like now that pressure's kind of off, right? It's like in baseball when you're a pitcher and you go through 7 no hitters and then you give up a single, like okay, the pressure's off now.
Yeah. Well, Idaho was I get that Outlaws were annoyed with Idaho talk, but it's not as if it wasn't merited, right? If Outlaws were blowing teams left and right, we'd be talking about them just in the same way, right? But yeah, the silver lining here is that Idaho got smacked in the face in this one. It's probably the best thing that could have happened for them if they're to meet again in the finals, right? Um, Not to say they took Outlaws lightly. I don't think they would disrespect the Outlaws or Steve in that way. I'm pretty sure they came prepared for this game. And sometimes it doesn't roll your way. There were a lot of upsets this week. There were a lot of teams. Gold even mentioned it on his podcast with Matt that there were a lot of surprising victories this week. And he's like, oh well, I guess it just goes to show some quarterbacks are human after all, right? So I guess Brady's just a human after all, right? He's a normal dude like anyone, right? He could have one bad game in the season. It's possible. So that's just what I told us.
Yeah, it didn't look like that was going to be the case after their first few weeks, but like I think, like you said, you don't want to overanalyze this, but I think that this game seemed to mean more to Outlaws than it did Idaho.
Yeah. Well, we'll see which game means more to who when it really really counts, right?
Preach, preach.
Because finishing first or second in the standing doesn't mean anything besides getting to choose if you want to start an offense or defense in that finals. But top three teams get a bye.
Yeah, you gonna. I guess the teams have a rematch too. I'm guessing they must play each other again.
Let's take a look, and then we'll get to the unit KLB, which was another crazy game.
Man,
Oh yeah, last game of the season.
there you go.
Like
And bang.
literally the last game of the season, July 12th at 6 p.m. There's no game after that in the regular season.
Man, okay, there you go.
The unit and KLB. This is crazy because like the unit were up 23-7 at half, and they scored on. Oh, okay. The play-by-play did get updated. Sweet.
Oh, it did even the stats.
Well, the stats on you got updated, but the play-by-play I wasn't sure.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. That's what I was looking for like an hour before the show.
Um, yeah. So I think they scored in the last play. Yeah, they scored in the last play of the half. Vinny touched on a Haney, who Sean Haney balled out in this game, and Ashton gets a 2-point convert. So they were up 8 going to half, and then they end up being up, sorry, 16. A second play of the game, Tyler gets a safety to make them go up 2-0. And this is really the tale of two halves. And when you see a team blow a 16-point lead, was it even bigger than that? Yeah, when you see a team blow a 16-point lead, you feel like it's like a collapse. But this game didn't even feel like a collapse. It was like it happened like almost like in slow motion. Like you look at Jonathan Plot's stats, he only had 3 touchdowns. But you know when you talk about like a MVP performance, he had 3 touchdowns. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. His team had a pick six. Like it was crazy. Like they scored in a bunch of different ways. Um, in this one, he did have that safety early in the game, but like I can't even describe how and what happened for this comeback to happen. Obviously, um, Félix Fontaine-Larouche's pick six was crazy. Uh, a couple of plays earlier, or I think on the earlier drive, Vinny throws a deep ball to Ashton, and Felix was guarding Ashton, and he didn't catch it. Felix made a good play on the ball, and you hear Dobbs yelling from the other field, "Oh, Ashton, you gotta catch that! You gotta catch that!" And then he's like, I take Ashton. Like, I'd put money on Ashton anytime, any day of the week, whatever. Like, okay, makes sense. But I don't think Dobbs knows who Felix Fontaine-Larouche is. Like, we covered his game when Jagerbomb beat Idaho in that finals, right? And in that dominant game. Wait, it wasn't our Jagerbomb that beat Idaho, right?
Yeah, yeah, Gumby Idaho with our boys
When he did the lot,
JFL
yeah,
before those
and we know
guys.
this guy's a baller, right? Like, he was probably like the top after Simon and JF. He was the third best player on that team, arguably top two, right? So on the next drive, he undercuts a pass to Ashton and takes it to the house. He undercut the pass shooting out, and it was just I was sure he was gonna step out of bounds because he was coming with so much speed, and I don't know how he kept his balance to like kind of like dance around that sideline and score. And does it have it here? Yes, it does. So that was the TSN turning point in this game because it happened right here. So yeah, KLB had just tied the game up at 35-35 after getting the touchdown and the 2-point convert. And on the very next drive, 2 plays later, Felix gets the pick six to go up 6, and then they get the 1-point convert. Unit end up scoring to make it a 1-point game. They go for 2. Give it to Ashton again, who I'll speak about his arm in a few seconds. Ashton got sacked, and that was actually the unit slot all 3 timeouts. So KLB still needed to get a 1 first down to end the game. They got the first down on a nice wheel route to Jeremy, and that's all she wrote. Okay, Ashton is for real as a quarterback. His 2-point convert attempt that he threw to Sean was a cross body, no look, all the way to the back of the end zone corner. Like, and a rocket of a pass. Like, literally a rocket of a pass. Like, I hadn't seen him throw ever in my life. And
Yeah.
seeing that, I'm like, okay, his stats were not a mistake. Like, it's crazy that he put up like those numbers, but like, he has a hell of an arm. Um,
Well, it's
this is
crazy
it.
that I remember someone was telling me, he's like, "Oh, you're your quarterback before," and Ashton was like, "No, but it's fun." I was like, "Well, a lot of things are fun. It doesn't mean you're going to be good at them."
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't think Ashton would be like, as good as a quarterback as he seems to be, considering he's that good of a receiver. Like you don't really put the two and two together. But I think it didn't. Was it last game or is it so? At this game, Ashton didn't take over for quarterback for Vinny at all, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay, okay, but it's pretty incredible, man. Like if ever Vinny misses a game, you got Ashton.
Yeah. And like Vinny didn't have a bad game at all. Like he was connecting. Then Mike Jess sub in this game. He caught 9 passes for 47 yards. Obviously, Andrew had the D ball, 6 for 122. It looked like Haney was like the main guy on this team, even though he only had 6 catches, 59 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 1 point and a 2 point. So he found the end zone 4 times. And like if we weren't keeping track of the score and you would have asked me who won the game, I would have said, oh, the unit for sure. They just played so much better and they were like executing so well. And then KOB just found a way to squeeze this one out of their, you know what?
Like it really felt they stole the game type of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember I was checking the score at half and it was 23-7. And then you see that not only were they up by 16, the unit, but they get ball to start second half, right? Okay, if they're up by 16 and like let's say a KOB go and they score, they get the two, it becomes an 8 point game fairly quickly. But to be up by 16 in the second half and ball, what do you think it was? You think that maybe unit kind of took their foot off the gas there? You just think that they ran into a good KOB team? Yeah,
It's
it's
hard to
because
say, man. Like it's really, really
yeah.
hard to say. Like it's a mystery. Like KOB worked some magic, and I don't know what they did, but they just kept playing their game, right? Games of full 42 minutes and all the stoppage times, 44 minutes and all the stoppage times. So like they just never gave up. I guess Unity maybe took a few plays off, and that's where they made their mistakes. Like that, I said that pick six from Felix was huge. Stan had a pick earlier in the second half. That was also really really big. And like KLB were just doing what they do. Like
Yeah, that's man. I mean, look, unit right now 3-3, hanging on to that last playoff spot. Who knows if they play Ranceur or Raccoons later in the season because that would be a big game. But unit's still sitting fairly comfortably now, but they can't afford to let games slip. That's for sure.
yeah, got two big games against Idaho and Iron Owls this upcoming weekend, while les Ranceurs, who are on the outside looking in, have a tough task against the Outlaws.
And 1, 2, 3 get the bye, right?
Yeah, 4 and 5 have a play in.
Nice.
So I feel we've been talking about Division 1 for like 2 hours. Let's go to Division 2.
Wait, we only did one division.
Hey, it's your last show before a while. Let's make it worth it.
Yeah, preach. Good call.
See any games here?
Played in one. Um, but I'd say the other three games, the score surprised me in all three of them. I think not necessarily who won. Well, I mean, I was surprised Ducks beat Phoenix, even though they added Drysdale, and their team seems to be getting better. But to see Nice Cities win by 20 and to see Rejects lose by 19, sorry, Rejects beat Rossos by 19. But look at this game. Nice CDs here. Not terrible stats from Aranti in terms of interceptions, but it's those incompletions, right? Going 19 of 41, only for 135 yards. I didn't see any of this game. But to me, the story is how Nice CDs defense was able to limit Jason and that offense, right? Because they've been scoring almost that well the entire season.
I don't know when the last time where Jason only threw two touchdown passes was.
Well, I'm if you look with Jason Edwards, I guess maybe he was missing.
Yeah. So like I was not expecting him to be so low scoring, but big win for Nice TDs. You spoke about this one. I'm also surprised. If this was Kevin's article, I think Kevin would have blasted Phoenix for losing to a winless team. Actually, Kevin and Nick this weekend have two losses to winless teams. They lost to the Ducks, who had no win in Division 2, and they also lost to Wolverines in Division 5, who had no wins and who had got spanked 50 to nothing a few hours earlier. So not only did they lose to a winless team in Division 5, they lost to a winless team who had just lost by 50 points, and they lost to another winless team in Division 2.
Man, you gotta love the Crusades.
They're making people happy. They're making people happy.
There you go. That's what it is. Yeah, I saw late of this game a nice pick by Drysdale to seal it. Ducks scored late. Their conversion was no good. I think they had a few minutes. Phoenix did to march up the field. They did march up the field. Got a little bit past midfield, and yeah, Ducks got the game sealing pick they needed.
I heard a few Phoenix players might be looking for another team next season. So if any D2 teams looking to recruit, reach out. The Ashes might not create another bird next season.
Hey, look, season ain't over, man. Phoenix is hanging around. Season ain't over. I don't think.
It ain't over, no. And they
Oh,
have
look,
two games
they're
in hand.
yeah. See, they go 1-1. They're tied for that last spot.
That overtime loss to Rosas was a
Oof,
big one.
for reals,
They would have been 3-3.
man. Div two is like really up in the air.
And yes, surprising about this one. Not that Rejects won the game, but like you said, more the fact that it was a 19-point game. Like Rosas have been playing great lately. Um, did you see any of the game?
No, but it was a matter of time before Rossos went back to reality, right? Like they have two great games and they'll have three, you know what games, and then win a game by 60 and then lose to a D5 team by 40. So I can't say this surprised me all that much, even though it kind of did. But look, the last two games they put up 40 in each game, and then to be held to 14. Look, Rejects have a good defense, but I really let's say if it was a 6.5 point spread, I probably would have taken Rossos to cover. But Rejects have been crushing it lately too, right? So.
So this wasn't close in the first half.
No, but second half, CIA made it a game.
Vendany
Um,
leading the way, 5 catches for 80 yards, 1 touchdown. You had Connor on the other side, 6 for 106, 2 touchdowns. Did he smile?
he did not, but he had a heck of a touchdown, and I was there to witness it. It was a ball right over my head. I sure was gonna tip. Not only did I not tip it, Connor caught it.
You have
And
length.
sorry,
You have length.
I have length, but that play I had no length. It was an
Did you
absolute dart.
stretch? Did you
Connor,
stretch out?
yeah,
Did you
yeah. I,
jump?
I swear, like I don't know how the ball it was like 4-1. I was playing safety, and like the ball went like through my hands. I don't, it was like a movie type stuff.
Did
And
safety do shit?
No, no. Thankfully, no, because at that point we kind of had the game in hand. Connor made a nice catch, walked back to the huddle, no smile. Been there, done that type of thing. But no, it was a very poor first half for CIA. I don't think they scored in the first half. Our defense was playing really well. Um, and to shout out to our rushers, man, they got a combined 5 sacks in this game.
Did Yavar actually rush on that player? He just stepped in and
He did. There was a double quarterback, and he sacked. I think it was Jason, but there was double quarterback play. Yavar shot like a cannon, and yeah, he got a sack.
let's see who are some of the leaders. Got a plethora of weapons here and great ball distribution by Stevo. Um, like pick your poison, really.
Yeah, look, the Chesney, the 28 catches, leading the team in yards,
Steve's 31 rushing yards.
a career high. And then
So
yeah, like look,
does Phoenix lose back-to-back games against teams that are not in a playoff spot?
wow, what a game! Can you throw up the standings, my G, quickly? Because that's like a playoff game. Um, I'm not sure what your question was, but I'm going CIA in this game.
Yeah, same.
I'm gonna go 19-18 overtime CIA.
Hey, if Ducks beat Rossos, their playoff hopes just skyrocket, right?
Ducks would go to 2-6. Oh my goodness! Wow, if they could be half a game out of a playoff spot.
Literally.
Wow, crazy stuff up for grabs this weekend. My
Maybe that
eyes
momentum
on
can
that.
help them.
Sorry, my eyes on that 9 a.m. Well, through three 9 a.m. games, but with that my eyes on that rejects nice TDs game 9 a.m.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yep. Yeah, top
That's a
two
big
get a
one.
bye.
Yeah. Division 3.
Let's go.
So we'll start with this one. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Les Nomades without Elliott, who's arguably their best player, without their quarterback, in Louis. You got Thomas, who's one of their best players, also having to step in at the quarterback position, so they don't have Thomas at the receiver position. Only 6 players, everyone playing both ways, and they pull out the victory. I was speaking to Thomas after the game. He was like, "I was so worried about our defense. Our defense has been like our like weak point throughout the season. Um, yeah, almost 200 points against." Through 7 games with only 120 points for. And I told him like your defense gave me probably the most trouble I've had all season long, like against every opponent I played. Like I think we've scored, I think we scored consistently at least roughly around 30 points a game. And it was like the first game we didn't get to the 30 mark. Uh, like we needed at least 2 more scores to get there to hit the 30 points.
Mhm.
And he's like, we were literally calling the same thing all game long, and none of us were smart enough to adjust. Um, but yeah, like I could think of excuses of why we lost, but for real, like there's nothing more to say than these guys balled out. That guy Sam Shahon, he's a baller. Alex Doré did a great job rushing me all game long. Antoine Lévesque with 14 touchdowns. Thomas with his legs, 10 for 61 and a touchdown. That go-ahead touchdown, I think the last one was the one he rushed in. That kind of like uh, made it very tough for us to come back. We just needed one more stop.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah.
No, honestly, you look at Thomas's stats, and they're a bit deceiving because he had a good game. You look at his 13 for 30. It didn't feel like that, but it was his legs that really killed us. They're 10 carries, 61 yards, and the TD was really the game sealer. Like you said, we had a chance to come back after that, but it was a huge play. I think they converted on fourth down earlier in that drive. So you know what? They just made plays when they needed to make plays, and we didn't. They were the more clutch team. And yeah, I think that you're right. Like Sam Charon, maybe a guy that we don't talk about much. He played an incredible game on both sides of the ball, getting a pick, getting two TDs. And this team has depth. Like Thomas, probably one of their best receivers too. That means missing their starting quarterback, and like you said, missing one of their star receivers, if not their best player. Was it Clément?
Who? No, Elliot.
Elliott, sorry, Elliott, exactly. I'm missing Elliott. Elliott Burke, one of their best players, if not their best player. So this Nomati, I'm surprised they're sitting on the outside looking in. But this team is deeper than we thought. And look, I think that is one of the cases where they really needed the win. And it's about a more desperate team, and they played like it. And honestly, they had a really good game plan, and it worked.
Yeah. And look, their end of the season's pretty tough against Trench Babies, Laval, fat players. But if they beat Thunder Buddies, they could beat anybody.
Well said. Well said.
Him University Drama Club, the McDonald's game. If
Gosh
you would have
darn it.
made the bet out the spread, you would have won because we had determined the spread was 2.5.
Shoot, it was, eh?
But you took Drama Club minus 2.5. I had him you minus 2.5.
Shoot. Yeah, that was shoot. I guess Valley Cat didn't want me to get my McDonald's.
So Drama Club's first loss of the season. Over here, your boy Kareem balling out 9 for 72, two touchdowns, three sacks in this game, all over the place. Um, Kevin St. Pierre 9 for a buck 22, three touchdowns, and the 2 point convert clearly. Great chemistry with Simon with the first season together. Surprising to see Guillaume was only with one reception in this one. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah,
Maybe
this
we
game came
can.
down to converts, and both teams did pretty good on converts. Valley kept getting 4 total points off 4 touchdowns. You getting 5 points off those 4 touchdowns, really. So both teams, like usually if you score twice on 2 point converts in a game when you only score 4 touchdowns, you're happy with that.
For real. And if you look at, like you said about Kareem's stats, and normally being a menace on defense, leading the division in sacks, getting 9 catches, 72 yards in this game, two TDs. He was playing the slot. I don't think he normally plays the slot. With our boy Joey missing, he was able to fill in that role. So good to see him balling out on both sides of the ball. Like potential championship rematch game, championship
What the
preview
heck you
here.
saying?
Well, I said potential. Okay, I said potential. Potential championship game and rematch going on. Look, you showing that even without Joey, they're able to put up points. And I don't think if you're Drama Club either, they weren't going to go undefeated, right? I think this division is too strong, so not
I
anything
think they
too
thought they'd go undefeated.
potentially. But I think you said surprising Guillaume only one catch. I think surprising more that Nico only had 3 catches.
Yeah. Is Kevin St. Pierre the new Nico of Drama Club?
I think they're 1A 1B.
Or is Smoke, was he hiding his cards knowing that these two teams will meet again in the playoffs?
It's very possible to. No, I don't think Simon's smart enough to do that. I say they're 1A 1B.
Well, right now it looks like 1-2 and not 1-A, 1-B. Look, actually even 1-3 probably.
Yeah, St. Pierre, man. He's a fun guy, man. He's a unique guy. Really like him. Positive guy. Very bubbly, and yeah, he's making a name for himself in this league on both sides. Really, he got speed, good hands, complete package.
Aaron Troller's winning again uh, twice. So I think that's 4 straight wins for them. LTC getting a much needed win against Witching Hour. And then I ref this game, Trench Babies Drama Club. It sucks that you're not going to be there because we're playing Trench Babies upcoming weekend. They got one guy, a baller on their team. You're good with name pronunciations. Pronounce me this one, please.
Bro, is that the guy who played for Henchman?
Really?
Yeah, I think he played for Henchman.
That day where you
See,
guys found two random guys like walking on
yeah,
the
yeah,
sidewalk.
and he ended up quarterbacking for us one. That's when we were like grabbing anybody at the park that would come play with us because we didn't even have enough roster players. But I'm pretty sure he played for Henchman. He quarterbacked us for a game. Okay, anyways,
Well,
yeah, Titi Bugasa. Yeah, yeah, I think it's him.
he was praying before the game, and after such on you like or halftime two, he prayed, and then on the back of his jersey it writes "God did."
Bro, respect.
So like big fan of yours. You'd be a big fan of his. Sorry, especially of the way he played in this game. There was a drive where he got two or three catches in a row, and you were just saying, just feed me the ball all game, and like they literally could have done that. He was almost always open. He made a lot of plays on defense too, getting six tackles. Smo was not there for this game. He had Quinton subbing in,
Mhm.
and his stats don't do him justice because Quinton played a pretty solid game considering he was his first game in Division Three ever. First year playing quarterback. Um, has a hell of an arm. Before I get to the good stuff, I try to touch upon what happened late in the game. So late in the game, Drama Club score, convert. They have no more timeouts. There's 16 seconds left. I ask Trench Babies, you guys want to call it? They say, the game's not over. I'm like, no, you guys have 16 seconds, but you could call the game. They have no more timeouts. No, 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 we want to play, want to play, want. I'm like, are you guys sure you want to play? Like, yeah, yeah. I'm like,
Oh my-
I'm not supposed to say this, but like, if you throw a pick six, you lose the game. You don't worry about that. We ain't gonna throw no pick six. So on the next play, the quarterback gets sacked for a safety, and Drama Club get the ball back with 16 seconds left and a chance to win the game. Quinton runs close to midfield, and then it was Hail Mary. Unfortunately, he couldn't pull it off. Dominique Leblanc, who had a crazy game rushing over here. Pretty good game offensively, too. 8 for 62, one touchdown. He had two sacks on the day, and relentless pressures all game long. But after the game, I told him, like, if ever a ref asks you in the future, do you want to call the game? There's only one answer, and it's yes. There's no like negotiation there.
Well, thank God, A, they won the game, and B, it's funny. This brings up another point that, because Kevin was his usual Kevin self and was losing his you-know-what on the sideline. And Chrissy, too, well, we're not going to throw names and everything, but Chrissy was saying that, no, not her, but she was saying the situation where the ref had said, there's 5 seconds for, do you want to call a timeout? Like,
Yeah,
what, like, is like, do we say in the lower divisions like 5-4 the refs are allowed to do that, or even in the high divisions like, oh, 5 seconds left, do you want a timeout? Is a referee not supposed to do that? I know you read the rule book every day of the week and
yeah,
twice on Sundays. So what's the
yeah.
rule in
On
that?
Saturdays too. But yeah, you're not usually supposed to give like a directed question to a team. Like even when you're giving like the options after a penalty, like let's say there was rushing interference on a incomplete pass, and then the options like first and 15 or second and 10. Obviously, the second and 10 is a better option, but like you're not supposed to tell them that. Um, in the lower divisions, you want to be maybe more helpful early in the season, but at this point in the season, I'd say you probably shouldn't be. All that being said, like I don't know what the situation was, how the game was going.
Mhm.
Obviously, the scorekeeper or referee probably had good intentions. Being non-biased was going to do the same thing regardless of which team they were talking to, right? So it's different to comment on that exact situation, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I completely threw you under the fire there, but no, good answer.
so yeah, this I think this was Jeffrey's first game. Yeah, first game. First MFL game ever, 23 of 30, 238, five touchdowns, two picks. We have a lot of solid first-time quarterbacks playing 77% completion percentage.
5 touchdowns, pretty good, almost 240 yards. That's a pretty good debut. Do we know what if JS is out for the year?
Yeah,
Shoot, okay, that's too bad.
I wish him well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Just say I am incredibly, I try and be glass half full, but I'm very disappointed in FAT players, Derry.
why?
Well, first of all, because they're losing a lot of games,
Yes,
and like you would think this is should be one of the better teams in the division, no? Like when,
they start off that way for sure.
yeah, like when you have Leon at quarterback A, and then you have Sean Kennedy, his main guy there, and Dominic Lassard two on the team. Um, I don't know. This just and then you have Martel as well. Like I can't really figure out why this team is struggling as much as they are. Like I haven't watched many of
Well,
their
Martel
games.
wasn't there in that game.
Yeah, exactly. But he was there in a lot of the games they have lost. I'm not sure what the record is, but um, FAT players are definitely underperforming, and I'm not really sure what it is.
Well, look, you have Sean that missed 3 games. Martel missed 2 games.
Hmm.
They're the top two receivers, regardless of that. And LaSalle, who's the third receiver, has only played 3 games. So, top guys, roster inconsistency there. 3 game losing streak. They have 2 tough games to end out the season. Um,
Yeah, actually, they started off 4-1, eh?
yeah. And Action Squad are running a 4 game win streak now, I think.
Yeah, Avery
No, three
coming in
game
and
win
throwing
streak.
those darts.
Yeah, and then they got a big one against him, you next week.
Indeed.
And Trollers with their 4 straight wins. It's really a lot of hot streaks going on in Division 3.
Like if you look at like, and that's not even including. We even talk about Witching Hour, who won a championship last year, sitting at 4-4. As much as I, crapped on FAT players, they're still 4-4, so not doing that bad. Um,
Well, remember after we beat and Trollers were like this can be a 1-4 team, and they were
yeah,
like in
right.
last. They were like literally in second to last place. The only team that had a worse record was like Hog Riders, and now they're in third place, sitting at 5-4.
And they got experience, man. Experience prevails.
If Thunder Buddies hadn't lost that game, they'd be sitting all like now. There's a bunch of teams with 2 losses, but they would have been the lone one-loss team.
True. It's an exciting division, man. Anything can happen. And I
I
kind of like
think
the
this is the
idea.
most.
Yeah.
I think this is the most exciting division.
I think the no buys is kind of cool, right? You have straight Elite Eight, 1-8, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5.
Yeah.
But man, I think Trench Babies are too good of a team to miss the playoffs.
So who doesn't make it if they make it?
The way things are going right now, I'd say FAT players.
What about Nomad, who beat Thunder Buddies this past weekend?
There's that too. Ooh, they got Trench Babies. That's a big one. They have that. Wow. Well, no mind you say their destiny's in their own hands, right? Because they play Laval, they play Trench Babies. So it's a favorable schedule for them in the sense that they can kind of control their own destiny. And then FAT players, yeah, you couldn't
Yeah,
have asked for more impactful schedule if you're Les Nomades.
literally. Division 4?
Let's get it for reals.
Divisions 4 game of the week had Les Bouchers, Mustard Tigers. Top 2 teams in the division. Unfortunately, Mr. Mustard was not there to be the leading Tiger for the Mustard Tigers. And they had Thomas filling at the cornerback position. Didn't go as planned. Thomas is a pretty good quarterback in general, but when you're playing the second best team, or now, should I say, the best team in the division, you can't expect to fill in. And obviously, with Thomas playing quarterback, there's no Thomas snapping the ball to Thomas, right?
Hey, you never know. I'm sure if Marv was quarterback, he'd find a way to throw to himself. No, you're
Lucas
right.
Drouin,
It's a big loss.
Lucas Drouin, 236, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 1-point converts, balling out. Great ball distribution to Simon Benoit and Xavier over here. Um, were they without Felix on top of it, who's arguably one of their best players? Um, let's see their
Baby
stats.
Maynard, man, put some respect on his name. 4 TDs.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's a real baller. I didn't think he could get taller. Now he's looking more built too.
Bro, it's his legs are longer than like my whole body.
And you got length.
Breach.
So what do you make of this game? Does it mean anything, or since the quarterback wasn't there, you just flush it down the drain and
No, no, it does mean something. I'd say Tom, like we've seen Thomas throw a few times, right? I don't think it's his first time throwing, and he's done a
no,
fairly good job. But wasn't he throwing for a team like permanently one year?
yeah, mustard Cubs.
Mustard Cubs, there you go. And I think they had a fairly decent season. So, look, like you said, when he's throwing, they lose their number one threat at receiver. But this Mustard Tigers team is so, well built and been playing for so long that they can learn to adapt. So it still is surprising. Look, I think this says you have to say more about Les Bouchers, to say more about Mustard Tigers. You got to give credit to Les Bouchers, man, to put up 45 points against that defense. Like Tom Tom was playing quarterback in this game, so I wonder if he also played defense. I'm sure he did. But look, Brian Mustard wasn't there, but Brian doesn't play defense, right? So Labouche were still able to put up 45 points, and that says something.
Yeah, and to answer your question, Mustard Cubs were 4-6 in fall 2023.
Just missed out, eh?
Yeah, and a cute little parenthesis. I just want to see his stats first. Had pretty good stats.
Yeah, 20 there, 46, yeah.
Cute little, CIA Fusion that's competing in Division Two. You know what the Fusion comes from?
Yeah. Iron
What
Wolves
is
and
it?
Troy Holders. Wait, what? Wait, yeah, Iron Wolves and Trolling Holers.
Not Iron Trollers, bro. CIA Fusion.
Wait, what?
CIA Fusion.
Oh, Cyclones and then and Airborne?
And Cyclones is the C. Airborne is the A. Where's the I?
Wait, Iron Wolves, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. CIA Fusion. Got it. Wow, and they're creating Div 2.
Yeah. Go to Division 5. If you want more in-depth analysis and coverage of your Divisions 4 and 5, make sure to tune in to the French podcast of Matt and Gold. I listen to it. It's pretty good. Um, but for Division 5, I do want to point out the legendary Spartans game. First team 514. Actually, we'll start with that one. Mike Lesniak balled out in this one. Balled out in this one. Eight
That's crazy.
touchdowns, zero interceptions, 16 to 22. Great job. I didn't see any of this game, but this just goes to show how bad Phoenix are for losing to Wolverines after this. All props Wolverines getting their first win of the season. But before we talk about that, legendary Spartans. I know Matt and Gold spoke about it in their podcast. 6-6 tie going into overtime. Um,
The first thing that strikes me is respect Legendaries went for two, even though they were struggling to score.
yes.
Right? No, I mean
Like,
like in a low scoring game, you think every team would go for one, but
well, maybe they were saying like we have such trouble scoring, let's go for two and like hope for the best.
yeah,
Maybe they have their plays drawn up for 2 point converts. Who knows? But like they literally scored 25% of their points in that one play in overtime when they had 44 minutes to do so in the game. But 100% respect. Like you rarely ever see a game won by 2 points in overtime. It could probably
yeah.
be the first game ever in MFL history that it's been more than a 1 point win in overtime.
Seriously, eh? But that's kind of weird because you think in the high divisions, like you're right though. I can't remember the last time I ever saw a game that went to OT where a team won by two.
Yeah, because you're right in like Division One, if you go in overtime, you're probably gonna go for two to start, right?
But even in Div 1, I can't remember a game ever going.
So I guess either the team
Oh,
doesn't get the two and then the other team gets the one and wins it, or the team gets the two and then the team ties it up and then it ends up being a 1 point game later on.
good call, good call. Either way, big stuff by Legendaries.
But look, Jeff Laurence has been playing quarterback for quite a few seasons now. Gabriel Darvaux, it's his second season, I believe, as a quarterback, but his first season with his own team, right? Like his last season, he played with the free agent team, and we know how tough it is to play with a free agent team, right? With a bunch of guys you don't even know. Even if you know one or two, it's crazy to get that chemistry rolling. Like by the time you have the chemistry rolling, oh, the season's over. Oh, you didn't win a game. Tough luck, right? But when
Yeah,
you play with your own buddies, first of all, it's obviously a tad bit more fun to show up to the field, and it's a lot easier to have that group motivation of like, okay, let's send each other some things in the group chat. Let's go out and practice a little bit. Like we're just chilling and doing other hobbies together, but we could talk about flag football a little bit here and there. So good for him. You see that even though he doesn't have the experience that GF has, protecting the ball and only throwing one interception to GF's four interceptions shows great improvement on his behalf. Obviously, Benjamin Denis, who's a top player in the MFL, leading the way as a great leader on both sides of the ball here. I'm sure rallying the troops, telling everyone where they need to be. It still like bobbles my mind how Ben never played football before and doesn't watch football, and like to this day is like a flag football baller, but doesn't know like football like outside of flag football, you know? Like it's so rare. And it's like, okay, but you played soccer before, or like you were like I don't know, a sprinter before. He's like, no, no, I'm just into video games. I just play video games. Okay, so you played Madden. No, no, not that kind of video game. And he's a freaking baller. It's like it's yeah, it bobbles my mind.
it looks can be very deceiving, man.
It's not even. It's not look. It
It's true.
has.
You're right.
It
Not
has
even look. You're right.
he seems pretty athletic. Like he seems like
Yeah,
he's in
yeah,
good
yeah. That's
shape.
true.
It's more his like I'm like so you were like a rugby player, a hockey player, like you did some other sport. No, no, I'm not an athlete. I play video games. And he's balling out left and right in Division One. He's like Steve's top target over guys like you. Um,
Bro, it
and
gets those fingers moving, right? Those video games. So
that probably explains why he has good hands. That's
there you go.
actually that we found the link. He has those
There you
quick, good hands, good grip. He doesn't drop many balls, right?
go. Grip strength.
Yeah. But seriously, uh, this Legendaries team, that was a huge win for them, right? Playing, look, Spartans Legendaries are currently the two teams holding on that final playoff spot. Legendaries have one game remaining, so that win against Spartans was huge, huge, huge for them. Um, their final game comes week 11 against the Slicks. It's going to be a tough one. Who
Back to
knows?
back buys.
Yeah, if they'll be clinched by then, if it'll be a must-win situation for them. Maybe Slicks will have secured the one seed now that DTS is moving up. A lot of unknowns for them.
I mean, a lot up
Besides,
for grabs in the division in general.
yeah, and then we gotta talk about the Kusai's double loss to a winless team. But props to Nicolas Cloutier. They've been having different quarterbacks come in, and he played the whole game at quarterback here. 17 to 28, 142, three touchdowns, and my most important stat, the zero interceptions. Um, yeah,
I'm really happy for Clutch in this because they is it. I think it's their first win of the season, right?
it is the first one of the season because we've been saying numerous times that Phoenix lost to a winless team.
Oh, see, there you go. Just seeing if you're paying attention. But 1-7, yeah, keeps their slim playoff hopes alive. But honestly, look, he's grown to understand the game of flag and love it more as Nikola Cluche. You could just tell, right? And that like really impressive to bounce back. Not only after losing 50-0 the game before, but the same day, right? When you put up zero in your first game and the other team scores so many points, it's easy to get down and get demotivated. But the fact that they're able to beat this Phoenix team, and Terry, this Phoenix team was 6-1 before this game, if that makes sense, or 5-1.
Yes,
They were 5-1, playing as a team that hadn't won, and they
yes,
lost.
yeah. It just sounds worse and worse every time you say it.
I'm not even making this stuff up though.
To a team who hadn't won and lost 50 to 0 earlier in the day. So if your butts are on the ground, it doesn't get lower than Wolverines after that 50 to nothing loss to team 514.
That is shocking. Like I don't even like they have that as well.
So all props go to Wolverines.
Yeah, this was
I
one of the
guess
games where people were
those things
screaming and
came out,
yelling.
eh?
Yeah, for real, eh?
And then I just want to check this overtime when Wong Dynasty picked Sixers, which was huge for Wong Dynasty, who are in, maybe turned the page on the beginning of their season and playing pretty well down the stretch. Wong Dynasty went first, they didn't get it, then pick Sixers got it. Wait, did I say Wong Dynasty won this game?
Yeah, I was going to really cut you off, but I said you'll figure it out.
I don't know why I saw that. I guess it is pretty late. But all that being said, Wong Dynasty still Pixels are one of the top teams in Division Five,
Mhm.
and that's back-to-back games where Wong Dynasty lost. But okay, maybe not against Big Booties, but the game against DTS where they put up 25, and this game where they lost in overtime, um, have been solid, more solid games for them, I'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, right? Losing their first game, they get their losses. The first game they lose by 6, then they lose DTS by 3, they lose by 7, they lose by 1 in overtime. So they've been competitive in these games, but unfortunately, if you lose by 1, you lose by 101. It makes no difference.
I know Division Five doesn't score a ton of points, but unless you're a DTS, but 21 points against per game is pretty solid for a one-win team, I'd say.
Well said. I guess their
Uh,
playoff hopes are, yeah,
they're officially dead.
officially.
Yeah.
Man, that's exciting. Okay, like I throw you on the spot. I know we're not supposed to talk at all about this division, but let's say we got 11, 12, 13, all teams sitting at 3-4. Let's say we throw the Orphans there at 3-5. If I tell you that one of those teams make the playoffs, Spartans, Mimosa Crew, Cessnas, Orphans, who do you got? Didn't I say Spartans would win it all?
You said that in Division 4.
Division 4. Yeah, good call. I'm gonna
I,
go
I,
Mimosa Crew.
I like a lot of these teams. Mimosa Crew have shown a ton of promise at current, like their quarterback, their leader, the heart and soul of that team.
Mm.
That's a huge loss for any team, and for them to be fighting for a playoff spot is nothing short of impressive. Um, Spartans with the same record have had an up and down season, but that plus 71 differential is pretty impressive. So I'm kind of leaning towards Spartans here. Looks Cessnas could beat anyone in this division, and then the Orphans, who are maybe having one of the better free agent team seasons in recent memory. Um, but let's not count out Improbable either, right?
Yeah, true, true.
Matt is out, but they have a few games in hand. Alex Laroche rallying the troops. He loves to punt. Um, but
Yeah,
look, they have the same amount of losses as the teams who are currently in the playoff spot. So, but if I had to bet my money, I think I'd go with Spartans, but I would not feel comfortable at all with my bet.
good to see Curran there this weekend. He was there, not obviously not 100%, but he says he's been doing a little bit better, and it was just good to see him. He seemed to be in good spirits.
Was he cheering on the crew?
He was cheering on the crew. Well said.
Was he in a walking boot or like crutches
No,
or
he's walking very slowly and gingerly.
okay, the same way you usually walk?
Yeah, I mean, he went a little faster than me, if I'm being honest, but
Women's division.
let's get it.
Drama Queen Supernova. I think it's the usual. Supernova did add Haley to the team. Nice to see that she got 5 catches on 46 yards on 5 catches in one of her first games in the MFL. Roxane and Isabelle doing their thing. Kayla as well. Rachel with 2 sacks in this game. Kayla 2 picks. Marjolaine and Marie with a pick six. Yeah, this drama
It
queen
feels
team
like
is just
Gila
looking
has
more and more
defense.
unstoppable.
Yeah, this team from top to bottom is just incredible, but it seems like Gila has defensive player of the year,
Oh boy,
bruh. Wow, but
it would
that's
have been.
crazy. You have Susanna with 2 games and 5 picks.
Yeah, it would have been really interesting to see how many interceptions she would have got had she played all year, or how much better Crazy Bees would have had as a season had they had Susanna for the full season, right?
Oh man,
Wow, Marjolaine with 13 PDs, that's really impressive. And Shamika with 3 pick sixes, she's fast as soon as she catches it.
holy cow, that is crazy.
75% of her interceptions go for pick six, with 8 PDs as well. She's showing she's an all-around player and doesn't only rush.
Yeah, she's everywhere. Got that side to side speed.
And then this game, I heard there were a few pick sixes. Yeah, so Haley making her presence felt with a pick six here. Shamika getting one of her pick sixes there. Cristiano with a nice pick here. Um,
And Lorianne really becoming a top target on this team. 5 catches, 80 yards. Um,
yeah, good outing by Angie as well.
yeah, throwing for 156 yards, 5 TDs to 1 pick.
Yeah,
You know,
Lorian
this
clearly
crazy
being the
beast.
main
We put
receiver
up
here.
the sorry, did you say it was a straight final or is it two plays three and the winner plays one?
It's a straight final.
Right, okay, okay.
So it's the Drama Queens did not clinch the one spot yet.
So the matchup is official.
Yes, but if Crazy Bees win out and Drama Queens lose out, and Drama Queens get points against scored of more than what Crazy Bees have, we were
They'll win
talking.
the coin toss.
I remember last fall we were talking about how impressive the Steelers defense and the Tigres defense was. Remember how we were saying how they're averaging 7 points against the game and 6.8 points against the game? That was really, really impressive. I think right
Yes.
now, Drama Queens might be on pace to shatter that.
Holy, bro, that's less than 3 points a game.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're telling me of their one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 games, they have 5 shutouts?
I'm showing it to you, man.
But no, that has to be a mistake.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. How do Is there a situation where Drama Queens doesn't hold a trophy at the end of the season? And if so, how?
There isn't. But if we want to talk about hypotheticals, Crazy Views would have to come out in that finals, start with the ball, score a touchdown on that opening drive, get a 2 point convert, and make a stop, and then have extremely, excessively long drives. The one thing that stresses out a team that's severely favored the most is when the game is closer for a longer period of time than they would have expected. So if the game is 0-0 or 6-6 or 12-6 or 18-12, and it's a one score game throughout the first half going to the second half, that's when drama queens might start to stress and might make a mistake. So I know it's a lot easier said than done, but you
Hmm.
want to extend those drives as much as you can and try to limit your mistakes. And if drama queens make any mistakes, you got to capitalize on them on theirs. It's it'd be a David against a Goliath matchup. We've seen crazier things before, right?
Yeah, we have.
Like I don't know if like Arnold's beating Cole Cook in the semifinals a few years back would be considered crazier than this, but it's one recent that comes to mind. But
Yeah,
we've seen huge upsets. You don't know. Maybe Roxanne and Isabelle and Kayla have a trip planned that weekend and they won't even be in Montreal, right? Um, you never know.
yeah. That's true. And with the times they played each other, the games haven't been incredibly close. Um, but
No, but
and
maybe
I
Crazy
know,
Bees are saving it for the finals. They don't want to reveal all their cards during the season, right?
right, that is true. It's a good point. Like the losing to them by 12, like they're always within striking distance. The okay, that first matchup's pretty one-sided. Then
No,
15,
Heroes fifth. Heroes 50. The first
yeah.
matchup was 15.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at Supernova, but yeah, see, 15 exactly. 15 being the first matchup, and then okay, 37's up. That's a bit surprising, and then you have 22 to 10. They have a fighter's chance. Hey, they got back-to-back games against them this week and or sorry, week 10 and week 11.
Yeah. At this point, try new things.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
It clearly is broke, so you got to fix.
Yeah, for real. Well said.
MFL Laval.
Ooh,
Okay, so have you ever seen two games in the same division end with fewer than 3 points per team?
I don't think I've ever seen that ever.
So the Flag James scored 2 points and les Pousseux du Ballon, who les Pousseux du Ballon have scored, I think, over 50 points in their first three games and have almost 200 points through six, only scored one point in this one. Um, but let's turn our attention to Les Tornades, who we asked each other the question last week, which of the the bottom half teams will nab the last playoff spot. You said Grizzlies because you like their jerseys. I said Tornade. It's looking more and more likely that I'll be right, you'll be wrong. Tornade putting up 44 points against the Cheetahs here, who the Cheetahs also put up 30 points, which is, I think, almost a season high of their own. Thierry Latour with 7 touchdowns, over 200 yards. But I think the star of the game was Noah Paul with 7 sacks. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but seven. 7 sacks. A touchdown and an extra point of sacks, if you
Not just
will.
a touchdown, the extra point too.
Yes, just for good measure.
That should be the Laval record.
I know Reginald earlier in the season had quite a few. Let's take a look.
But that's bananas when you say les pousseurs. Like what a historic decline. Like
Entire
historic decline.
record.
Wow.
Yeah, Cougars flexing their muscles, right? In this one, playing the Cheetahs next week. Kevin Marion, 16 to 23, 127, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, doing everything right, even giving Les Pousseurs de Ballon that 1 point to not get shut out. Uh, his defense was letting him know, though. He's like, we could have got the donut, but it's you got to make sure they got a point. Um, Good ball distribution here. Sebastien Béchard being the main guy, 6 for 48, 3 touchdowns. Um, Look, I don't know what's happening with Les Pursuits Ballon. They were like really, really high in the power rankings, and now three straight wins after, followed by three straight losses. And it's not
But
getting
that
much
let's
easier
like
next week as they're playing Bandinos.
it's almost like there was a clone of them, and then the clone became the actual person afterwards. If that makes sense.
So the clone was good or bad?
Like let's say, yeah, I guess the clone was bad, was good, and they're bad, or the other way around.
That didn't
But
make
look at that,
sense.
71, 48, 50, and then 16, 12, and 1. I guess a lot of it has to do with their opponents.
Yeah, definitely that Bellows, Villains, and Cougars were stronger, but not for them to score a combined 29 points in those three games.
Talk about a tale of two halves.
Yeah, they got to get their you know what together.
Yep.
But look, they're still in a playoff position. They'll most likely still make the playoffs. Maybe not in a great position. Um, but yeah, right now the Villains are looking unstoppable.
That 133, man.
The what? Oh yeah,
133 point differential. Who do
yeah.
you think gives them the best run for their money?
Right now I'd say Bandinos.
Rob
They
White.
played they played last week. It was a one score game,
Hmm.
very low scoring. But look, Bellows in business and Sooners 45 and Cougars. I would have said Sur Ballon 2 3 weeks ago, but that's not the case anymore. I think any of the top five teams could be any combination of two out of the top five teams will be you could be your finals matchup there. I think they're playing Sooners this week, are they? Or is it? Yeah, they're
Yeah, I
playing
guess
Sooners
Sooners they
45
scored.
this week. Bright
Hey,
and
they're
early at 9:30.
coming off 52-point game. That's looks like the game of the week.
Yep. Anyway, I think we did all divisions. Did we forget
Yes, sir.
Division One? Maybe we have to do Division One.
Yeah, I think we skipped it.
Oh yeah, Bun Saint Jean to everyone.
Oh yeah, that's where Chesney is, eh?
What do you mean?
Well, the Chesney missed our game this past weekend.
Okay,
Well, he's celebrating that with his buddies. No,
I guess
well, I mean, I think there's a good possibility that's where
you
he
could
went.
ask him.
No, Roxanne confirmed it with me. It was a rhetorical question.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
good. Good.
yeah, good stuff.
Uh,
I went to Tim Hortons today and it said like Happy St. Jean blue and everything.
oh yeah, nice. Bold predictions.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Roll the tape back from last week.
Like,
Drama Club 4-0, right? Haven't lost a game yet.
yep,
55 points against through four games. Pretty impressive, right? You look at everyone else. I know they played fewer games, but still averaging 13 points against a game. They got two games this week. They're playing Him U and they're
yep,
playing Trench Babies.
yep.
Him U are arguably the favorites, one of the better teams in the division, and Trench Babies, who you just surprisingly said are an outside looking in. Drama Club, who have not lost a game and sitting comfortably at 4-0, dropped both games this weekend to be at 4-2. And just like that, their beautiful undefeated record is looking it gets cut in half. And they're sitting at 4-2. You know what they say, right? When it rains,
It pours, bruh.
if I remember correctly, my bold prediction was that the 4-0 Drama Club would lose back-to-back games and drop to 4-2. And not only did they lose both their games, they gave up more points in those two games that they had given up in their first four games combined.
Come on, Terry.
Yes.
I'll give it to you. It's rare you hit on your bold predictions, so I'll give credit where credit is due.
Second one I hit this year.
Hopefully, he stays at 2.
You want to choose a division?
Yeah, you'll do Div 1. I'll do Div 2. 3 games. All at DLV.
Okay. The unit, Arnold's, the unit, Idaho. I'm doing Division 1, right?
Yeah, you're doing 1.
Okay. You ready?
Born ready.
In both games combined, why is that funny?
No, no, it's not.
Vinny throws for over 300 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Like in each individual game.
No, no, both games combined.
Okay, okay. So like four, four.
Yeah, sounds bold so far, eh? But
No,
Ashton throws for more yards and touchdowns in the day.
okay, wait a minute. Restart, bro.
Vinny
Yes.
Galano, the quarterback
Yeah.
of the unit,
Yes,
throws
yes.
for 8 touchdowns and 300 yards.
Both games combined.
Both games combined.
Okay.
But Ashton throws for
Yeah.
more touchdowns, so at least nine, and more yards on the day.
So your next score is scoring a heck of a lot of points on
Yes.
Saturday.
They got to score a lot of points to make sure their teams can come back.
Well said. It's two big games, man. Them and Ironwood sitting at 3-3. Idaho coming off their first loss, wanting to rebound. I like that. That's bold. I like that. That's you're getting better.
Got to spice up a bit after getting so many of them right, you know?
Yeah, getting the little easy ones there.
Um, what do you want to go with?
I'm gonna go Div 2, like I said. A lot of games to choose from. Okay, like I said, man, that rejects nice TDs game is eyeing my eye.
It's eyeing your
Nine,
eye.
it's eyeing my eye.
Yeah.
It's eyeing my eyes. It's eyeing my eyes. Both eyes. Rejects nice TDs. Okay. Even a potential playoff first round matchup, but no, you think that one of the two are gonna get a first round bye. Okay.
Hey, don't be
Okay, I'm
surprised if
gonna.
the average Joes and fins up.
Yeah, that's true. That is well said. I'm gonna go in this game. Snapper, snapper. Okay. So we have Dobbs that likes to go to a snapper a lot. Leo. We have Guillaume that likes to go to Andrew a lot. That connection is great. So we're gonna
Literally two
see.
extremes.
Yeah, they are 100% two extremes. Um, so both Leo and Andrew in this game will have at least 15 catches. Both of them will have at least 15 catches, and both of them will score at least four touchdowns.
That's pretty bold.
15 catches, Leo, at least 15 catches, Flash, four TDs each.
So they'd bump William Power outside of the top five receiving records.
Gosh darn it. Okay, forget what I just said. Well, Leo already has the record, right? 17.
Yep,
Man. So maybe he breaks his own record in the same season.
maybe.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot of points in that game. A lot of receptions, a lot of points, maybe a little bit of dink and dunk here and there, but touchdowns still the same. I'm expecting a good game.
Do you think this is a mistake?
That's in the season, right? Well, that is. I mean, it's possible it hit off a receiver and landed in his hands. Wow, 14 rushes in one game. How do people stand on their feet for that long?
All right, cool stuff.
Yeah,
Good show.
good stuff.
So I won't see you this Saturday.
You will not,
Oh wow. Who am I gonna throw
man.
to?
Are you gonna be okay?
Yeah, I guess I'll call in sick and have Matt Demers throw for us.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. I'll text you as soon as I get there. I'll call you if anything. I'll leave you my Airbnb I'm staying at. Don't panic. Take deep breaths. I'll be back shortly.
How you gonna handle no football for like 2.5 weeks?
Bro, I don't know. It's nuts. In the 16 days I'm gone in this league and the other league that we don't talk about, both leagues combined, I'm missing 10 games. I don't know what I do, man. I can't even bring a football. I showed you my bag. I barely have enough room to fit my socks.
Oh, that football we bought at the garage sale. You could squeeze it, make a
Oh
finger.
man, from our little buddy. Hey, daddy, daddy, someone bought our ball. Come on, daddy.
You still have
Oh,
it? Do you have the football?
yeah, it's right here. Okay, long story short, folks,
Wait,
Terry
wait,
forced me
wait,
to buy this ball
wait,
off
wait,
of a
wait.
little kid.
Hold on. Let's give the full story, and before we start, maybe my Jazz could fix it.
Well said. Look, Jazz, we need you right here.
Okay, so
Okay, so long story
wait,
short,
half glass full. Let's give the positive. Will made a little kid's day. Like that kid is probably still talking about it right now.
yeah, 100%. But it was Terry forced me to do
You
it, so we'll
can't
take out
make
that
this
much of an
stuff
age.
up. Okay,
So we
so
see a bazaar where there's a little, or not a bazaar, what do you call it?
it
Like
was a
a
garage
garage
sale.
sale.
Oh,
Yeah, a garage sale. It's before our game at LeBert. Terry and I just went for lunch. Terry goes, "Oh my God, there's a football." I couldn't see it because Terry's the one driving. I said, "Okay, cool." I see the ball. I see like it's a small enough ball where Terry could palm. Like, where Terry, like, come on, we're not gonna buy this ball.
Terry could what?
You could palm it like without it falling. So that's when you know it's obviously like there's no way like this ball could be thrown with. It's not a regulation ball. And then Terry goes out loud. You know, the kid's signing the ball. He goes, "Oh, Will, look at this football!" In front of the kid, he goes, "Yeah, I'm signing the ball, bud." I'm like, "Bro, Terry, you realize that it's like for $400, I have to buy the ball now. The kid freaking signed the ball, and it's like his most prized possession. I have to buy it now." Thankfully, it was $5. I had to buy it, and then after I take the ball, he said, "Daddy, I just stole my ball,"
And then we
and I
felt
felt
bad.
bad. Yeah, I felt bad because I said, "Oh shoot, does the kid want his ball back?" And he said, "Oh, bud, my bad. Did you want the ball?" He goes, "No, I don't want it. I have my
He's
ball." And they showed me another football. But all that to say, if this ball was $400, I still would have bought it because Terry put me on the spot in front of a little 8-year-old kid that had just sold his prized possession. And I couldn't have said no. Right
You
here.
wanted to go to the garage sale. You wanted to touch the football because you like touching footballs. And look, makes for a great
Yeah.
story.
Maybe,
And
yeah, maybe I'll pack this one in the bag.
can you fit in the bag?
But I can't even fit a toothpick in the bag.
You have it in your room.
Yeah, of course I have it, but I sleep with it every night, but it's a nice pillow.
Did you wash it first?
No, it's hey, the amount of footballs that we've touched with Mike Johnson, this and that, I think this one should be
You
okay.
found it near LeBert though.
That's true. Yeah. Hey, it's got all the memories I need. But all that to say, we made the kids' day,
Yeah,
and that was because of you. So thanks for that, Gene.
yeah. So I'm
But
there for it.
I saw. I'm sending you the transfer of $5. You still owe me $5.
Okay.
So
Give an
that
extra
wasn't
five
right.
bucks this week.
Respect.
All right.
Okay,
Well, good
that's
show.
good. Okay, folks, enjoy. I'll be back in a few Saturdays. Have fun. Big games, like Terry said. You got 5 games to be playoff eligible. Make sure you get that in. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the weather. And I'll miss you all, but I'll be back soon.
I'll see you guys this weekend.
Be safe, folks.